Hello, everybody. My name is Dawn Campbell at the IAPC&M, and today I'm with Lewis Raymond Taylor. So Lewis is in the hot seat. Hello, Lewis.
Hello, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Before I hand over to Lewis, just a little introduction. Firstly, welcome to everybody. We have many callers on this line from all around the world. Over 50 of you have registered for this call today. And if you could just keep your mute buttons on, because I'm recording the call for the benefit of everybody who can't make the live call. So, as I say, we've got Lewis in the hot seat today, and just by way of an introduction, he is somebody who has gone from battling all sorts of obstacles and self-sabotage in his life, from misuse of substances, trauma, mental illnesses, multiple prison sentences, and numerous near-death experiences, to become a teetotaler, accredited international business and mindset coach, speaker and trainer. And what you want to really hear is that he's a serial online entrepreneur with 2 six-figure businesses. So how did he do this? From the time that I've known Lewis, he's very, very motivational. He's a great source of contacts and a font of all knowledge. So that's why I invited him to speak to you today. Now, how did he achieve all of this? Well, he's going to share 6 vital steps to you today, but essentially it's by using the power of his mind to not only change his life, but also the lives of thousands of people across the globe. So he's now on a mission to ensure that coaches and entrepreneurs alike build that solid mindset and thriving online business. And if you've ever seen this photograph, you'll see he's got the biggest, happiest smile going, really happy to be alive, and giving it everything, giving it large. So I'm going to hand over to Lewis, because you're not here to speak to me, and then we'll have a Q&A at the end. So far away, Lewis, please.
Thank you very much. What a lovely introduction. It's nice to actually put it all into context sometimes and hear it, because it can be distant. Obviously, I've come full circle now, so it's nice to sort of reflect back on a past I no longer recognise, and all that's been down to all the personal growth and development and coaching and counselling and therapy and things that I've been through. I think that's probably a conversation for another day. It took me a while to go into my story, but yeah, as Dawn was mentioning there, I've gone through a lot of things such as mental health problems and addiction and prison and trauma and all sorts of things, and I had the luxury of being able to go to rehabilitation, and I was exposed to personal development for the first time in my life and exploring my feelings and emotions and thoughts. And that's what started my process of starting to look at myself and changing the way in which I allowed my mind to be operated, I guess. And it's things that I won't go into my sort of whole journey, but I moved away from my friends and family. I started afresh. I went back to college and university. I started helping people. I started becoming a coach. And things went from strength to strength. So I want to take you through. So I won't go into sort of my whole journey. That's probably a conversation for another day. But I want to take you through the process that I took to build my business, because it completely shocked me more than anybody else. I never expected to be able to get the sort of results that I did and have done. And it was from some quite fundamentally simple strategies that I happened to have just have done by accident, and then tied them all up and realised that I'd created quite a clever structure in order to be able to pass these, pass this on to other people so that they can go and get the same result. So just to give you a little bit of an insight into my journey through coaching. So I became qualified and I started to help people, and I was just essentially a life coach, quite general at the time. And I had a few clients, things were going okay. But I started to attract sort of all the wrong sorts of people. I was attracting people I didn't necessarily want to work with or felt comfortable coaching, but I was just sort of taking on a bit of everything, just trying to sort of get my way through and build some experience and things. And I started to really have a think about who I would like to work with and who I could get really good results for. And I went through this process of just sort of exploring myself and and some of the clients that I got good results for. And I'd niched down into mindset. So I helped people with mindset specifically. Then I started to think a little bit more about who I would like to coach, and identified that I'd love to work with people like entrepreneurs, sort of similar people to me. They had the same sort of mindset, they took action. And the conversations with them tended to feel like they were just 2 minutes long. They were just going really, really quickly, and it was effortless. So I niched down to mindset for entrepreneurs. And I'm going to explain to you how I did this in a minute, but within 8 months from that moment, I made £100,000 from my one-to-one coaching. And it absolutely blew me away. I never expected to make anything like that. I started on benefits, and because I went back to college and university, and when I went through recovery from drugs and alcohol, I was going to AA meetings and Narcotics Anonymous meetings. So I really started from scratch, and I was on these benefits, and I just started helping people. And I made that £100,000. Try and reflect on how I did that, and then I've structured that into these 6 stages. But I'll come back to how I did it. But I just wanted to just quickly explain to my journey as well. So I was doing mindset coaching for entrepreneurs, and then I built this business quite quickly to the point where a load of other coaches were coming to me and saying, "Lewis, how did you do that? How did you manage to build that business so quickly?" And I said, "Well, you do this, 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 and that. You're surely doing those things." And they said they're not. So then I realized that there was a bit of an opportunity there to serve people in this way. So I started helping coaches and entrepreneurs with business and mindset. So that was my journey, and I just started doing that and getting great results. And I was helping other people create 6-figure businesses, and that was blowing me away because I thought I might have had a bit of a fluke with it, but actually I started helping other people results for them. It was at this point where I wanted to learn more about the online world, and I was using things like sales funnels and email automation and branding and social media quite naturally and intuitively. And these were some great tools that can help get your clients essentially, and they wanted that as well. So I started creating strategies and solutions for coaches, as well as branding and photography, everything, but a done for you program. So that's sort of, and then in more recent times, I also actually another thing I did, my coaching was completely full. I couldn't take on any more clients, so I started to create more passive income type infrastructures. So I've got a membership site where people pay a monthly reoccurring subscription to get training, accountability, and coaching on a group basis. And I now have other coaches that work for me within that platform. So I've sort of removed a lot of my time. And I've also do group training programs, and I've also recently become a accredited provider where we do a qualification, so we can actually qualify coaches now. So I train coaches, I help them grow the business, and I also do the done for you services such as the websites and the branding, the funnels. Anyway, I just wanted to put a bit of context around that because I'm now earning multiple 6 figures, and I actually only started 2 years ago. And not just that, but I actually have got the flexibility and freedom to be able to do this from anywhere in the world. Right now, as I speak to you now, I'm in Bali. I'm in Indonesia. I've just come from Cyprus, and then I spoke at a retreat in Santorini, and now I'm here in Bali right now delivering this at 10 o'clock at night. I hope this doesn't sound like I'm just bragging, but I'm just trying to share a bit of inspiration with you guys today, what I'm about to share with you, because it's all very, very well with me explaining a strategy, but unless you know that I've got something that you may want, it might not be, you might not listen. So I have now got the flexibility and freedom to be able to work from anywhere in the world, and I can choose to not really do much work other than just a couple of hours a day. I choose to do a couple of one-to-one. However, like I said, I've got that membership site. And I've also managed to outsource and delegate a lot of my work to the point where it's now at a point where I can step back from it. However, I do love doing what I do, and I do want to grow and scale things. So I'm still very much busy. So that's essentially my journey. I started off as a mindset coach, a life coach, and a mindset coach, and then a business and mindset coach for coaches, then done for you services, then a trainer, and now I'm an international speaker, trainer, and coach. And I do have that flexibility and freedom to be able to work as little as much as I like. So that's the braggy bit over and done with. I just wanted to share that with you so that you understood that I've been on that journey, and that does sort of qualify me, I guess, to be able to share this information with you. Anyway, that's it. So when I got all these results, I sort of had a look back and sort of said, how did I do this? What have I done differently to other people? And some of the things people are doing, but I don't think many people are doing them in the order that I do it. And with the intensity that I do it, because you're only as strong as your weakest link. And there's these 6 processes that I'm about to take you through, 6 stages. And if you don't have one of these stages, the likelihood is the whole thing's not going to work, because you need to really be taking customers through this journey from a cold lead all the way to a paying customer. There's this cycle that they go on. And if you've got one part of that process that's not quite right, it's not going to work. So what I'm going to share with you today is an online strategy to be able to take a complete beginner with no social media following, no coaching experience, nothing whatsoever, all the way to completely fully booked. And this works. And what I'm about to share with you, I do charge, considerable thousands of pounds for on a one-to-one basis, but it's essentially exactly the same as what I do on a one-to-one. However, there's obviously a lot more support. However, you could just take away this process right now and go and get these results should you wish to. So the first stage, they're all A's, so there's 6 A's. And the first A is accuracy. Now, this is the most important part. You need to start here, because what a lot of coaches do is they go and stick plasters on things, and they go and create a brand and a website and a logo and a coaching program, and they're just putting things here, there, and everywhere, hoping that it's going to work and resonate with an audience. But what you really want to do is create a foundation from the start in which you know exactly who you are, how you show up, what client you serve, what pain you solve, what desired outcome you meet for these clients, what's like this go-to, what makes you the go-to person within that specific area. We've all heard, well, I hope you maybe have heard of niching, and it was something I resisted for a long, long time, because I was like, well, you don't know, I can change the world. Someone mentioned niching to me. I said, I can help everybody. And it's not that we know you can help other people, but if you try and speak to too many people, you end up pleasing nobody. So it's about becoming really, really laser focused on exactly who you want to help, and then being able to build everything out from around that foundation. So these other steps are going to be crucial to the accuracy stage at the beginning. So really start to ask your question. There's a nice sweet spot in between what you would really love spending your time on. Who would you really love to work with? Who would make it feel like 2 seconds have just gone past? That's one sweet spot. The next sweet spot is going to be, what are you really good at? Because I know that coaching is, a tool in order to be able to empower others, and you can use it in pretty much any subject. However, if you become super relevant and very specific on helping a certain type of audience, then you're going to create certainty in the mind of the buyer. And in an online world, it can be quite crowded, and it's very difficult for people to trust you. So unless you're reaching out and saying, I help people like you, the problem that you've got, getting to the goal that you've got, only people like you, I'm the only person you can work with, it's going to be very, very difficult. So what we're looking for is for you to be known as the go-to person in this niche, and really own it like one word. So that's why I picked mindset, or you could pick fulfillment, or clarity, or relationships, or performance. There's so many you could pick, but it's about just narrowing your attention in on that area. And even if your coaching is still quite generic, still positioning yourself from a marketing point of view as being able to help those people. So if someone is looking for fulfillment or confidence or clarity, and they come across you and that's what you do, they're much more likely to go for you. I remember I didn't really get this until I was looking for a website once, and I was looking at all these different website designers, and they were all saying the same thing. I can do this logo, this website, and this SEO, and it was all the same thing, the same prices, and I had no idea who to go for. Until I went on one website, and it was literally a website for coaches. It was literally reading out my pain points. Are you overwhelmed by the amount of choice there are on websites? I was like, oh my God, it's like it's speaking to me. And then I was looking at the case studies, and it was all coaches like me with the poses and everything that I wanted to try and achieve. And it just made me feel like this was the guy that was going to build my website. And I just clicked and bought it straight away, because I had certainty right there and then. So niching is one of the parts of accuracy, but it's just one part of it. Everything needs to be congruent with that one word that you pick. So if it is fulfillment, then everything needs to be built around fulfillment, and I'll go into that in a second. But there's also 2 parts of niche. So there's what you do, your topic, and there's also who it's for, because everybody's different. And you can't resonate with an 18-year-old boy in the same way that you resonate with a 60-year-old lady. And different types of demographics, psychographics, behavioral interests, They have completely different sets of values and problems and goals, and they have different preferences around colors and branding. And your messages are going to become so blurred that nobody's really going to resonate with you or listen to you. So we want to be picking a topic and a type of person. So that could be entrepreneurs, that could be accountants, that could be men or women. And the amount of times I ask people, like, just simple, like, who would you prefer to coach, men or women? And they say both. Of course it's both, but like, men and women are actually quite different, and we do have different preferences. So straight away, you're blurring the lines to the point where both of them are going to go, I'm not quite sure this person can help me. So that's one of the first things you want to be thinking about with the accuracy stage. But also things like what content you're going to talk about. So what I usually do is I have one core word, mindset, and then I break off 3 words that are your core pillars that make up that core word. So mindset could be the one thing you want to be known for. And fulfillment, purpose, and adventure or something could be your 3 key pillars of things that you are really important to you. And then those are the things you could speak about in terms of content. We also, and I'm going into a little bit more detail now, and this may be some new topics for you, but things like Facebook community groups, ebooks to download for free content. These are things I'll explain in a little bit in a bit more detail. But those things need to all sing from the same hymn sheet. You'd be amazed at how many times I look at someone's website and they're doing a different coach. They've got a different coach positioning than they do on their Instagram. And then their ebook is writing some content about something else. Like their ebook's about health, their website's about performance, and their Instagram's about spirituality or something. It's going to literally cause a massive amount of people aren't going to trust you. If you needed a brain surgeon and then you went on your brain surgeon's website and he was talking about dentistry, you'd be a bit concerned. Like, it's very, very important we keep things congruent. So your title, your core pillars of content, your ebook, your program title, your Facebook community name, everything needs to sing one word. And once you know that niche, you can identify the pain, speak about that pain consistently throughout your messaging. If you know their goals, you speak about their desires throughout your messaging, and you keep it tight. Keep it tight as much as you can. And then you build everything else from that. So you can graphically represent branding and photography, colors and fonts, from the things that are going to resonate with your ideal target market. Because like I said, if you're trying to please everybody, you end up pleasing nobody. And I can tell you for certain that, if you're trying to attract me, for example, a sort of younger male, but your branding is positioned towards something that you would like, and you are maybe an older lady, then I'm not going to like it, and it's going to repel me. Now that's okay, because we want to repel people, but we want to make sure we're repelling the right people and attracting the right person. And that's why it's important to get a real clarity and real accuracy around who it is you're really trying to tackle in the first place, and then you can build it out from there. So yeah, you can do market research. You can ask, your target market, what are the challenges they're facing? What are the goals that they have? What preferences do they like? What, logos that they like? But you can typically get a bit of an idea. It's pretty obvious to a certain extent. I mean, female and males in terms of branding is quite obvious, masculine and feminine. Masculine might be some blues and some bolds, and feminines might be some pinks and some more calligraphy type stuff. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. A pink logo, for example, and you're trying to attract men, it's going to be difficult. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. We want to make it as congruent as possible so that everything is just going around in this lovely machine and encouraging people to reach out to you so they feel attracted to you. So anyway, that's accuracy. The next stage is awareness. So once you know exactly who you are, who you're trying to help, what you're trying to help them with, what the pain is, what the desired outcome is, then you need to be able to find those people. And here's why it's so important to have a niche and have that accuracy. Because if you're looking for clients right now, if you don't have a niche, then how are you going to know where they are? Where are you going to know where they're hanging out? You're just going to have to go after everybody. But if you're helping, say, for example, that's your niche, female entrepreneurs, and it's easy. You can go into Facebook groups and go into Facebook search and type female entrepreneur. There'll be groups. there'll be pages, there'll be profiles, there'll be competitors. You can do hashtags on Instagram, female entrepreneurs, be a list of them. You can type it into LinkedIn and you'll bring up all the professions. So straight away, the exact people that you want to try and target, you can find. And this is the really simple part of this process. You then connect with them. You don't have to wait for your audience to come to you. You can actually start off by building momentum, by creating an audience of people that you've actually gone and got yourself. So simply, you get accurate around a certain niche, and then you go out on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn predominantly, and you just go and connect with hundreds of these people. About 100 a day, I'd recommend. Go and add 100 female entrepreneurs on your Facebook. All they're going to, most people now are happy to accept you in. And some people won't, and they'll decline you, and that's fine. You move on to the next. But what you're doing is you're building up this audience full of people that you want to work with. And then the next stage is to warm these people up. But first, we need to get them into the room. Think of it like an offline event, and you're literally just getting people into the event first. That's the first thing you got to do. You're saying you want to help female entrepreneurs, and now you're just going, female entrepreneurs, come on in. Let's fill the room up. Full, then you know that when you're going to write content and things that I'm going to come into in a minute, it's going to be well received because it's going to be for the people that are in front of it, rather than shout into an empty room. Because that's what a lot of people are doing on social media. They are shouting to an empty room. Jill from their holiday to 3 years ago, and Dave from accounts from a job that they left 6 months ago might be there watching it, but no ideal targets for your customers. So we fill the room up. That's the awareness stage. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than just going and connecting with hundreds of people on all the platforms to fill your rooms up. Then the next stage, then we've got awareness. The next stage is attraction. We now have got the room here, but we need to attract them into our space. And there's a process we take them through called know, like, and trust. For people to want to work with you, they need to know you, they need to like you, and they need to trust you. And you can do that very, very quickly through sharing content on social media. Valuable content, not promotional, not selling anything, just simply valuable content. So when I say content, there's a few different elements that we want to be sharing with people. We want to be sharing you and your life. Now, a lot of people have this big disconnect and their personal life. You're not in a corporate job anymore. You don't have to wear a uniform. You don't have to delete your friends from Facebook. This is coaching. It's a personal brand. It's a service. It's authentic, and there should be no disconnect between you in work, if you call it work, and out of work, online or offline, with clients or with friends. It should just be you. So you can actually just share your life and your journey, these new potential prospects, just as you would with your friends. And that allows them to get to know you and like you and become friends with you. And people give business to their friends. If you had a friend that was a photographer and you needed a photographer, you'd go to your friend. There's no different in this capacity. So people really miss this trick. They feel like they can only they can't share personal things with their clients or with their prospects because it's, it has to be kept separate. But this is the online world. This is your business. This is, personal branding. There should be no disconnect. So literally just by sharing your life with people, you will get clients. I've had clients from going out for a meal with my ex-girlfriend at the time, and someone will say, oh, he looks like a nice guy. Let's see what he does. They're clicking around on my profile. Next thing you know, they're dropping in on an inbox and they're asking me about what I do, and then I can take over. So yeah, you want to be sharing your life with the people. You want to be sharing that you've got what they want as well. So this is like lifestyle attraction marketing type content. This is not essential, but it is a part of content. For example, if you're a relationship coach, you probably want to be sharing that you've got a good relationship. And if you're not got a good relationship, then that's probably not a good niche to pick. If you're a mindset coach, then you probably want to be sharing that you've got a good mindset in some respect. So, you'll have to use a bit of creativity to see how you're going to capture that. But it might be from meditating in the morning to reading a book on personal development to, going for a jog in the morning, whatever you would think would give you the rights to talk about mindset, you want to be sharing with people so they can look at you and go, I wish I had a mindset like that. And then they were going to want to ask you how you got a mindset like that. And that's going to lead to an opportunity for you. Me, I'm a business coach, and I help people with online business. So it only makes sense that I build an online business, and it's very obvious that I've got one, and I'm traveling the world, and and I'm living that freedom-based lifestyle that I'm an advocate for. So people go, wow, Lewis, how have you managed to just go to Cyprus to Bali? And I say, oh, I do it through online business. That's what I do. And then there you go. That's a lead. The most important one, though, is valuable content. Just be thinking to yourself, what does a client need to know? And this isn't to do with coaching. This is more just valuable. What do they need to know in order to want to work with me? If it's mindset, like what's the core valuable, like golden nuggets that they need to read to go, oh my God, wow, I need to look into this. Is it the limiting beliefs? Is it the perfectionism? Is it the fear of failure, embarrassment, humiliation? What is it? What is it, those things? If they read and resonate with, they're just going to be like, oh, wow, I never saw it like that before. I need to see if this person can help me. What limiting beliefs do they have that you can break down and rebuild through a story? Because this is another thing with content. It doesn't always need to be 5 top tips for building a mindset. That's like archaic blog type stuff. The best type of content doesn't look like content. It's just personal sharing of stories and experiences. Most of my content, pretty much all of it, is just me sharing my own experiences. But passively and indirectly, I'm sharing value within those stories, and people are getting aha sort of epiphany moments throughout it. Now, let me tell you another reason why it's so important to have a niche. Because when you're writing content, if you haven't got a niche, you're going to have complete paralysis as to what to really talk about, because it's so vague. Like content, wow, that's so much things I could actually say. But if you know you're talking about mindset to female entrepreneurs, then you can start using the exact language that female entrepreneurs, boss babe, hustle, grind, 10x, all that sort of stuff. You can be talking about pain points that specific female entrepreneurs have. Maybe stress and overwhelm more. Maybe talking about goals that they have to become a TEDx speaker, or to share, a message with the world, or have financial freedom. You can become relevant. And when you're relevant, people are going to have much more chance of wanting to reach out to you, because they feel like if you're resonating with them and they're relating to what you say and you're becoming relevant, then they think that you understand them. They're like, oh my God, he's like writing something that's in my head. How does he know that I've got that pain? How does he know that they're my goals? And it's because you have chosen to grow your audience in a specific area and nurture just those people. But when they think that you understand them, they also think that you can help them. That's what they think. Wow, this person really gets me. They must be able to help me. I'm going to see if they can help me. And then they reach out. And then there's another part of the process I'll go to in a minute. So it's authority. And by the way, with that attraction stage, there's content. You can share your own story, videos, blogs, images, quotes. There's actually a training I've done recently on 18 different types of content. There's tons of content you can do. And just literally building relationships with your audience, adding value, allowing them to know, like, and trust you, sharing your life so that they want what you've got, and just getting you visible as well. So you're in the forefront of their mind all the time. Every time they go on social media, you're there. So when they need a coach, they're going to be thinking about you, or they're going to start contemplating, I wonder what it'd be like for me to have a coach. And this is all free. Content marketing, completely free. It doesn't cost a penny to put a post out on Facebook, and you can do it as many times as you like. And that's how I built this business, by the way, completely for free, organically on social media, not a penny I spent on marketing. So the next stage is authority. So people need to look up to you with elevated status in order to want to work with you. One of the biggest reasons why people get a coach isn't necessarily to do with the breakthroughs. It's to do with the confidence and the reassurance and the power that they feel from being associated with someone that's going to support them and empower them and inspire them. If that person sees you as a lower status than them, then it's not going to be a justifiable exchange of their money, because they feel like they're actually going to be dropping status by being associated with you. So we need to position you as someone of elevated status, someone that's authoritative, And there's certain things you can do to boost your authority. And it is what it is. I don't know why this happens, but there's just certain things that do it. Number one, easy one, photography. If you have professional photography, your status goes oof, and I don't know why. It just looks, I think it's because people typically associate photos with the paparazzi and professional photographers with like models. You know, people don't really know that you can go out and spend a couple £100 and get a full day modeling photo shoot done and use that in your business. They assume that you're someone special and someone's wanted to take those photos of you. But whatever it is, if your profiles have brilliant photography on them, straight away your authority is going to go up. If you've got an ebook on your website with your face on the front of it, even if it's just a PDF masked as an ebook, because it's associated with an actual book and an author, and that's where the word authority comes from. If you've got an ebook, people are going to push you up elevated status. If you've got followers on your social media, you're going to have elevated status. If you're a public speaker, even though you can get some opportunities for free fairly easy, your status is going to go up. And here's a great one. I would recommend everybody start here. Once you've got your niche, you're going to become relevant to people, and they're going to want you. They're going to want a bit, basically. So there are podcasts and Facebook Lives happening millions of times a day. There are so many podcasts and Facebook Lives going on with people that have audiences that you could penetrate. So rather than trying to attract your own audience, you can utilize somebody else's. Because say, for example, you help female entrepreneurs. There will be a female entrepreneur podcast or Facebook community group where there's lives and interviews going on. And the person that owns that group may be something completely different. They might be an accountant helping female entrepreneurs. So you're going to come in and do an interview and completely add more value, complement that person. You're not going to compete. It's not like you're going to go against another coach. It'll be something completely different, or maybe a different type of coaching. And you are going to complement that person. So that person on the podcast host or the Facebook Live host, they're going to want you to come and join them. They are going to want to have you on as a guest because they're looking for guests and they're looking for somebody to add value to their audience. So they're going to say yes. You can message people, say, can I come on your podcast? And if you're relevant, if they can say, oh, I help female entrepreneurs, they're going to be, that's perfect for my audience. And they're going to want you in. Now, when they get you in, you've got the opportunity like this right now to speak in front of an audience and deliver value and show what you can do. And that's going to generate you opportunities. Some people on this call right now, they'll come and connect with me after. It's just how it works. And also, hasn't really happened massively here, but what you'll find with podcasts and Facebook Lives is people want to show that they've got good people on there as their guests. So what they'll start doing is start saying, the amazing, fantastic Lewis Raymond Taylor's coming on, the expert in mindset. He's going to be sharing some value with you. And they'll do like a graphic or a description, and they'll tag you in on your Facebook or your Instagram or whatever. And that will be pinned to your Facebook wall and like tagged in your profile. And that's massively authoritative if other people are talking about you rather than you talking about yourself. It's just that social proof element, and your authority again goes up. So these are small little strategies you can use to start building authority. And can you imagine if someone went on your profile and they're looking for a mindset coach, and they can see that I am a mindset coach and they are a female entrepreneur, and I am a mindset coach for a female entrepreneur. And then they see loads of content helping them, solving their problems, talking about their desires, relating and stuff like that. Then they heard my story and they sort of built a bit of a relationship with me because they could relate to me. And then they saw loads of other people shouting about me and calling me an expert and, saying how thankful they were that I came on their podcast. That person's going to be like, wow, this is the person for me. So that's a bit about authority. The next stage is approach. So up until this point, you've attracted people. You've become really accurate in who you help. So the people are now aware of what you do. Position you as an authority. So they're now going, wow, I'd love to work with someone like that. And you've attracted them into your space by writing content and warming them up. And they're sort of halfway in. So here's the sale. And yeah, they've come halfway here by attracting into your space. but yet you're here at the sale. And it's your responsibility now as a business owner, as the coach, to be able to offer an exchange of value and approach that customer. Because people aren't going to just jump out the woodwork and start giving you their bank details. Some people will, but it's very unlikely. Most people have the same limiting beliefs as everybody else. They won't want to work with me. It won't work for me. I'm scared. They'll reject me. He won't work with someone like me. I can't afford it. They've got all sorts of stuff going on. So unless you reach out to them and approach them halfway, for the people that are liking and commenting on your posts, for the people that you look at on your profile and you think they'd be a good fit to work with, it's okay to reach out to those people and start to have a powerful conversation via Messenger. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. You can simply just start to ask them questions about what they're looking for, what's been holding them back, and try and add real value. And at this point, then you get them on a discovery call. I don't know how much you guys know about discovery calls, but a discovery call is essentially a strategy where you just give a tester session, essentially. You don't call it that, but it's essentially a tester session. So you go in there, you ask loads of questions, you find out what they're looking for, and then you then give them your best coaching. You blow them away to the point where they're left thinking, wow, I want more of this. Now, I'd always advise people to do 12-week coaching programs. It's not a good idea to start focusing on hourly rate, because what you find is people aren't invested enough to be able to stay long term, and they end up dropping off, and you've spent a lot of time nurturing this prospect to get a couple of hours and then drop off because they haven't got the results because they're not financially invested. Also, when you do it hourly, people start to associate that cost with an hour. They want to be paying for results. So when you start doing it over a 12-week period, for example, and you start adding different things into the mix, like some support, or maybe a goal plan, or maybe a breakthrough session at the beginning, it starts to create this cumulative type experience they're getting over a period of time. And then they stop looking at the individual elements and how much they're paying per hour, and they start looking at the end result and what they're going to get out of it. Now, if you've done a good job of asking them what they're looking for, and your positioning is super relevant to the point where this person's thinking, wow, this is the only person that can help me. I'm a female entrepreneur, and this person helps female entrepreneurs. I am stressed and burnt out, and this person helps people that are stressed and burnt out. Because the thing is, with positioning, you can make it exactly towards what these people are going to want. Rather than guessing what they want or trying to ram things down their throat, you find out what people want and you give it to them. That's the best type of marketing. You find out what people want and then you simply give it to them. So that is essentially the process. And then you close them down onto high ticket programs. And then once you've got the money from that and you've got the experience from that, you can then start to realize what these people on a one-to-one really need, because you'll be working with them so intensively and they'll be the same people day in and day out. You'll start to pick up recurring themes and some of the patterns in which they're experiencing. And you'll be able to tailor that information into some sort of group program. And here's when you can stop exchanging your time for money on a one-to-one basis and start thinking about one-to-many and maybe subscription models. And ideally, the end result is to create courses. But you can only do that by having a real deep understanding around what people want, because everyone's so different. There's no way you could help everyone in the same way. The only way you're really going to get a course that's valuable that people are going to want to buy is if you have narrowed it down so far that you're able to anticipate what those people need. And then you can sell courses and make money without doing any of your time whatsoever. And then you can use digital marketing strategies to sell it. Now I'm coming on to the last A now, and that's automation. So I don't know if you've ever heard of a sales funnel, but a sales funnel is a way of navigating a customer through the sales cycle from a cold customer all the way to a paying customer, and then upselling them to more lucrative things as time goes by. A lot of people are trying to jump in at the deep end, trying to sell these coaching programs. Now, a funnel is essentially just warming people up and just gradually nudging them through. So content is a part of a funnel, because rather than trying to sell them something straight away, you're giving them free content at the front end of this funnel, giving them free content, building that relationship, and they're slowly starting to get used to you and like you, and then they might entertain a program. It's almost like meeting a woman for the first time and asking her to marry you straight away. She's likely going to say no. 1 in a million, maybe one woman really wants to get married, and she might look at you in the eyes and fall in love and say yes. But the likelihood is you've got to spend a bit of time getting to know them and taking them out for dinner and then a holiday and then moving in together, and then you eventually get married. So what we want to do is we want to offer smaller, more incremental stages to this buying cycle that allow the customer to be nurtured and start to trust you more and be able to sell more and more things. So the best thing to offer is things for free at the beginning, because then that hooks your ideal target market in. So I mentioned at the beginning about an ebook and making the title relevant to your audience. So this is, again, why it's important to have a niche. Otherwise, this ebook's going to be a random load of words. But say, for example, your niche is female entrepreneurs. You could write an ebook, which is top 10 tips for mindset for female entrepreneurs in 2019. Now, that content is going to be really valuable. And you can bet that the people that download that are people you want to work with, because who's going to download a book for entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, for mindset, unless they're a female entrepreneur in mindset? So everyone that downloads that is going to be a qualified lead in your business. And not everyone's just going to reach out and say, can I work with you? But everyone will take something for free. And what happens is when they download your book, they put their email address in, and then you've then captured that lead. You know exactly who that person is, and you can retarget them with emails. So a funnel, when you put the email address in, it will automatically trigger an email sequence, and then email sequence start to share. You can start to share case studies and testimonies and more value, and build a tighter relationship with people until eventually they get to the point where they want to buy something. This process can go on while you sleep. So rather than having to reach out and network and do everything, you just put on your profiles, clearly download this free book, and then everyone's downloading it and not just getting emails, but they're reading the value that you've got to offer and going, wow, this is really good. And if you've created the ebook title congruent with your coaching program, then they're going to want the upsell. If you're, say, for example, the ebook is top 10 tips from female entrepreneurs and mindset 2019. If they download that and read it and get value from it, they're simply going to want more. Wow, that was amazing. That was for free. I could do with some mindset coaching. That's convenient. This person that just downloaded this book, the author of it, they have a mindset coaching program. I might check that out. So yeah, that's a little bit about the sales funnel works. But you can also nudge them into cheaper products. So I've got a £69 a month membership community, and we have training programs online. We have group coaching accountability calls and training calls and group coaching calls. And that's relatively easy because it's on a group basis, so it only requires a small amount of time. But it means that people can become invested for £69 and start to get immersed within my world and all the things that I've got to offer. Now, after that £69, they're like, oh my God, for example, in our membership area, we've got 53 hours worth of content from guest experts in the industry, let alone all the trainings I've put in there, and let alone all the interactive group coaching calls stuff we do. So it's absolutely rammed full of value. But obviously there's like hundreds of members in there. So it's making me, thousands and thousands of pounds a month for very little work. But the person goes, wow, I got all that for £69. That's amazing. I wonder what the next stage is. And then they're much more likely to just drop through that process. And that happens automatically as well because they're getting emails. You can retarget them. When someone gives you their email address as well, you can also upload those email addresses specifically to Facebook and target them with Facebook ads. Can you imagine if you downloaded someone's book and then you started to have emails? If you downloaded someone's book and then you read the book and you thought, wow, that was amazing. Then you started getting emails from them. Then you started seeing their social media content. Then you started getting Facebook ads targeted to you, telling you to book a discovery call. Everywhere you go, there's going to be that person. That's all automatic. All of that has happened, apart from the content, all that's happened just by downloading someone's book that you can put in the forefront of your profile. So there's a lot more to this, but that is in a nutshell the 6 A's. I just want to quickly run through them again, just because I promise you guys, you can do this and you can get a client. You could get a client this week doing this. It's much better if you do it a bit more strategically and really nail each area, because like I said, you're only as strong as your weakest link, and it's no good trying to do it all at once. You need to sort of progress through these stages. But the first stage is accuracy. Get really clear around who you want to help, what you want to help them with, and make sure everything that's going to be from your digital footprint is on one document and it all makes sense. You're not calling yourself a life coach here and a fulfillment coach there and a health coach there. You're not helping men there and women there and relationships here. It's just, and couples here. It's just going to really confuse people, blur the lines to the point where they haven't got any certainty that you can help them. And it'll be damaging. They might actually want to work with you, but they go, that's put me off now because of that. So get really clear around exactly who you are and get accurate. Next stage, awareness. Go and connect with those people. Get in the forefront of their mind. Get in front of them. Get the eyeballs on you. Get them seeing you. Then attract them into your space. Write valuable, thought-provoking content. Share things with them. Share your life with them. Show them that you've got what they want. And again, be visible and in the forefront of their mind. Then build authority. Do things like photography and interviews and speaking and ebooks. And just try and elevate your status to a point where people look at you and go, I would love to be associated with that person. That person would make me feel more confident and powerful. Then approach these people. Make sure you sell. If you don't sell, you will not make money. It's the foundation of how businesses work. And it's only an exchange of value. They're getting an incredibly good deal by you coaching them. But you need to be compensated for that. And your job as a responsibility of the business owner to reach out to them, not for them to come to you. You can't scale and grow a very successful business relying on inbound inquiries. You can make some, but not quite enough. And that's the approach stage. And the final one is automation. To try and get your digital mark into the point where you've got this working on autopilot. Use sales funnels and email marketing campaign and Facebook ads, and also even things like outsourced virtual assistants to be able to remove your time and have this business operating for you so that you've got the freedom and flexibility to travel and be able to focus on your clients and not be bogged down with having to sort of individually scratch around for clients each month and doing all the administration and all the prospecting and relationship building with each individual person. Try and do it on an automated basis so that you can run this cycle through as many times as you possibly can with you doing very little and getting the most possible results for it. So that's it. That's the 6 A's. I hope that's been helpful and insightful. And yeah, we can open up for questions now. If Dawn said that's something we can do.
Yeah, and very inspirational, Lewis. Thank you. I mean, that was fantastic. And I guess, you know, when we think about the way business is done, nothing is original. It's all, you know, it's not rocket science. It's very easy to grasp. The hard thing, like we say about buying self-development books, it's very easy to read them. The hard thing is applying it, taking action. And I guess the one, certainly from the clients that I work with, it's number 5 that is the real sticky point. Coaches, therapists, counselors, NLP practitioners, whatever, they do not approach the customer. They don't have conversations that close. They're terrified. They're great coaches or whatever, but they don't like asking. Now, I don't know whether that's a very British thing or what, but I would guess out of the 6 steps, that's the one where a lot of people will say, that's my stumbling down block. But lots of great analogies there. I love that one about, you know, why is it people expect you to immediately marry somebody, you know, just because you've connected on Facebook? You've got to wine and dine them, get to know them, take them on holiday, move in before the marriage. I love that approach. I've not heard that one before. So thank you. So yes, before we go into questions, I just want to share a lovely comment from James Moffat, who said, I've been following for years all the big branded names, and there's loads of coaches out there who are offering, you know, loads of 6-figure salaries. Most of them are fake, only interested in numbers and sheer volume of people to hook in. We can tell you talk from the heart. I feel really connected and can relate to you. You're a breath of fresh air, much needed, excellent stuff. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So we've got a question here from David. What if you're a coach, mentor, or consultant? What would you recommend as a way to promote yourself? How can you actually nail down your niche? And I guess that from what you were saying, the turning point for you, Lewis, was when you decided who you wanted to work with. So perhaps a little bit more about how do you create your niche?
So those are 2 questions there, I guess. What would you recommend to promote yourself, and how do you nail down a niche? Those are, I guess, 2 things. So I'll answer them separately. First one, in terms of promote yourself, is exactly the way in which I just explained. You don't really need to promote, you just need to add value. Your income will be directly proportionate to the amount of people you serve and help. And the more relationships you build, the more powerful conversations you have, the more value you add, the more beliefs you break down through your content, the more people are going to start to resonate with you and become interested in you. So that is how you promote yourself, just by putting yourself out there and helping people. You don't need to promote a company, you just need to promote your face, because that's exactly what you're selling. You're selling you are the product. So by going out and being visible and helping people, every time you show up, every time you post, you are promoting yourself indirectly. You never need to sell anything, you never need to promote anything. You can do, but you don't need to. You'll find that if you help people enough and show up enough, it will come straight back in. People will reach out to you because you're just visible in the forefront of their mind all the time. And it doesn't take long as well. I've just recently done a 7-day content challenge in a group, and people got sales within the first week. Sales, let alone inquiries. Sometimes people will just go, "Oh my God, that bit of content you shared, I really resonated with exactly what I'm going through right now. Can you help me?" And you just say, "Yeah, let's get on a call and talk about it," and then hang yourself a coaching program. So that's how you promote yourself. In terms of how you nail down your niche, you simply ask yourself a set of questions based on the ones that I mentioned at the beginning. First one, the main ones, is what would you love doing and spending your time on in terms of the person and the topic? Like, what is going to feel effortless? There's no point picking a niche, working with someone that you wouldn't resonate with and wouldn't like speaking to. I mean, we've all had clients that we sit in front of and we wish we weren't sitting in front of them. That's the honest truth. And I think it is for most people anyway. It definitely is for me, was for me. Some people you just don't resonate with, you don't gel with. They're not aligned with your tribe or your values, your personality types, and they just simply don't feel right. So just really ask yourself a question: who would you love to sit down in front with? Just think about the clients that you've got and who are your favorite clients and what key characteristics do they have. So that's the first thing. Who would you love to work with, and what would you love to work on? So the two things: topic and the person. The demographics, the psychographics, the behavioral interests of the person, and the topic, in terms of, are you going to be asking general coaching questions around the topic of mindset or fulfillment or relationships or spirituality? And then, so that's the first section. What would you love to do? Second section is, where can you offer? Oh yeah, I don't think I actually went into this, and sorry, I skipped over this earlier. That's why. The second, I was talking about the sweet spot, wasn't I? And I didn't quite get around to it. So that's the first sweet spot. The second sweet spot is, what are you really good at? Because if you can relate to your audience and show a mutual understanding of the things in which you're talking about, of course, as a coach, or obviously as a mentor and consultant, it'd be much more relevant. But of course, as a coach, you don't necessarily give advice, but it's still good to understanding around the situation that your clients are in, and be able to relate to them and share maybe experiences with them. So what are you really good at? What do you have relevance in? Like, for example, there's no point me picking a niche as footballers because I don't like football. But it makes sense for me to pick entrepreneurs as a niche because I love entrepreneurship, and I'm happy to talk to them about their things, and I know what journey they're on. And it just makes sense for us to bounce ideas off each other and, be in that sort of mutual space. So that's the second one. So the first one is, who would you love to work with, and what would you love to work with them on? The second one is, what are you really good at, and where can you offer value, and where are your skills and expertise is. And then the last one is simply, what is in demand, or what are people going to pay for? There's an abundance of people that pick, for example, single mums. That's one I come across all the time, and that's okay. But just bear in mind that some, not all, some are going to find it more difficult to pay. And also, not a huge amount of them are looking for coaching. That's the reality. And also things like children. We all want to help children. We all want to go into schools, but the children can't pay, and the schools are budget cut as well. And homelessness, they've got no money. But these are all things we'd love to help. And these are more charitable things that we want to be creating money and, things and resources for ourselves to be able to give back to these people in a different way. It's not probably the most efficient business niche to pick. So there's essentially the three ones. What would you love to spend your time on, and who would you love to spend your time with? Where is your skills, abilities, and what makes you relevant? And then finally, what's in demand, and who can pay you? Because if you can pick like a customer that's got a ton of money, it's going to be really easy. Like if you're picking managing directors or bankers, then they're gonna quite happily pay you £5,000 for a coaching program, because they value the support you can offer them and the solution that you're offering, or the problem that you're going to solve much, much, much more than their money. So this becomes a lot easier from a business point of view. So that's answered that question. I hope that helps.
Could you just talk us through a little bit more about number 5, the approach? Not so much asking for money, but getting away from that old working on a one-to-one basis. So upscaling.
Yeah.
Time for money.
Okay, cool. I'll quickly just touch on the sales thing quickly, because I think it's an important thing to touch on. The sales funnel I mentioned, it's very contribution, very value based. Like Gary Vee is an entrepreneur, if you've heard of him. He talks about jab, 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 right hook. The right hook is your sale. The jab, jab, jab's the value. We offer so much for free: content daily, blogs, ebooks, Facebook Lives, webinars. If that person wants some free stuff, they are more than entitled to stay within that realm of freebie. When they're looking for a more lucrative, not lucrative, a more exclusive experience to be able to work with someone one-on-one, that's when the sale needs to take place. So it's important to recognize, because the biggest obstacle people have with the sale is they feel like they're selling something people don't need. They feel a bit cheeky for asking for it, but no, you've given a lot, and it's at this point where it's time for you to receive something in return. And just realize it's exchange. And no matter how much money they give you, they're always getting the better deal, because you're giving them your time, and your time you can't get back. It's the most important commodity in the world. And not only is the time important in the actual coaching session, but also the decades that you've probably spent learning this stuff and the experiences you've had. So regardless of how much you charge, they're always getting the better end of the deal. And the lighter you feel about that, the much more easy it is to go out there and start to do it. Also, even with the discovery call is free again. So you'll go in content free, ebook for free, discovery call for free. By this point, they've got so much value, it's not going to be a sale. They're simply going to want to have it. It gets to the point where they get to the end and they say, okay, so what's next? Because you've given so much, and it's been so valuable that they want the next stages. So it doesn't even need to be a sale anyway. In terms of the next stages, so membership sites, it makes a lot of sense, because it's just one to many. One to one is just obviously not time effective. One to many could be a group training. So for example, we've just done a training, 25 people on there, and they're all paying a similar amount to what some people would charge for a one-to-one stuff, because it's so valuable. But it doesn't need to be necessarily any cheaper, because they're still getting the same value that they would get, just sharing it out across more people. So you just get 20, 30 people on a call, and they all pay a sum of money, and you get to deliver it on a group basis. So that's a first way of doing it, just doing it on groups on Zoom calls. Because after a while, and being in the game for a while, you'll learn what people need on a group basis. It's more difficult to do that when you get started, but after a while, it's the same challenges that people are coming up with. It's the same, same obstacles, same beliefs, and it's just about tailoring that into a vague program. It doesn't need to be specific. You don't need to sit out there and map out this ingenious plan. Just a couple of core topics, and just start doing what you would usually do on a one-to-one basis, but on a one-to-many. And that literally is, there's nothing you need to do for that other than just inviting more people onto the call at once. So there's a big barrier of people thinking that's more complicated than it is, but it's really not. You just say, okay, this is a group one, and there's going to be more than one person there, and that's that, and they still will pay you though. And then the best one is second to best one is the membership. So that's great, because you get a community, you get people paying you reoccurring income for it. So every month you get money regardless. But you've got to update and maintain that, and it's typically not big chunks of cash. It's just smaller, sort of more gym membership type amounts. But that's brilliant. But the best one, the absolute best one, is online courses, passive income. So you essentially, if you've got a niche, you will be able to work out what the common pain points are, what the common goals are, and And then you'll find after a while, your coaching sessions are all going the same way, or your consultancy or your training, you're saying the same thing over and over again. Then you get that and you simply video it. That's all the course is, it's a video. And then you sell that video to people for much less than what you did one-to-one. And then if you can create a converting Facebook ad campaign, because that's how they're based, just on analytics, and you know that it costs you £50 to be able to sell one of your courses on Facebook ads, and the course is worth £300, then you know for a fact every £50 you put in, you get 300 out, which means you've now got a license to print money, because you essentially just sell it over and over and over again. Now that might seem too good to be true, but it's not. It's just because you've got value in your mind that nobody else has, because nobody is coaching or training the same people over and over again and absorbing their pain points and desires and goals. So nobody has that information. So you need the information to be able to create the course. And once you've got the course, you've got this asset. And there are people that have woken up millionaires from that, because once you've got that converting sales funnel, you can literally just plow money through the front end, and you can make millions of pounds off one funnel. Because if someone's going to buy it for £300, then 1,000 people might buy it for £300, and it doesn't require any more or any less of your time. So that's the more passive income streams.
Amazing. Don't know why we're not all doing it.
You can be.
We can be. Well, I'm sure we will be after this call. Well, thank you very much, Lewis. That's been fantastic, especially seeing as I know it's about 11 o'clock in Bali and you're probably very tired, or you're getting ready to go off and party, I don't know. But it's all about mirroring success. And if anybody wants to mirror success, then, you know, there's probably very few people better than connecting with Lewis. So how can we get hold of you after this call, when you're back in the UK or wherever people are around the world? What's the best way of contacting you, Lewis?
Yeah, so I am most contactable on, well, any social media platform. I'm so active on social media. You can just go and find me anywhere by searching my name. I'm the only one in the world, Lewis Raymond Taylor. So you can type me on Lewis Raymond Taylor on Instagram. I'll come up. Lewis Raymond Taylor on Facebook on my personal profile. Drop me a Facebook message. That would be a great way of contacting me. Alternatively, I'll just give you all my methods. You can email me at lewis@hungerstart, or you can search my website, which is lewisraymondtaylor.com. And yeah, you can contact me by any of those. I'm free. I'm more than happy to have chats with people and see if I can help them in any way. And you know, if it looks like there's something that I can support you with, I'm more than happy to also get on completely complimentary discovery calls. I still offer those out, even though, you know, I've got quite a lot of clients, because I know that, you know, it's good. Like I said, the amount of people you help is directly proportionate to the amount of money you earn. So I still do like to give up. So yeah, if there's anyone here that feels that I can help them and support them anyway, then either go to my website and you can book a discovery call at lewisraymondtaylor.com, and you just book that complimentary discovery call straight into my diary, or reach out to me, Instagram, Facebook, and let's just chat and stay connected. But yeah, it's been great to share it with you guys, and thank you for the platform, Dawn. I really
You're very welcome.
appreciate that.
Of course, people
yeah, if I can help any.
And of course, people can contact you through the IAPC&M, who you're accredited with personally, and your course is accredited with. So that's another way. But I just love the way that successful people are so generous with their time in giving back. So thank you very much. We really do appreciate it. And unless anybody's got any questions, we're going to end exactly on time. And thank you, everybody, for your participation, your questions, and your interest. And I'm sure we'll all be in touch. Our paths will cross again, not least on social media. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Lewis.
Thank you very much. No problem. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.